One day, a massive black hole appeared in the sky, and countless terrifying beasts started attacking the world known as Blue Star. This world has technology just like ours, but it's filled with danger and deadly monsters. Some people awaken special powers to fight back. They're called Awakeners. Among them is a young Awakener who only awakened a weak electric current, barely as strong as a stun baton. He thought he had the weakest ability, but when disaster struck, his power suddenly evolved. His lightning transformed into a divine force that came down from the heavens, marking the beginning of his rise as one of the strongest awakeners alive. At Jiangcheng No. 2 High School in Class 5 of Grade 3, the class teacher, Chen Fan, announces to the students that the unified exam is coming soon. He reminds them that they have been studying for this moment for many years. He asks the liberal arts students to check their stationery and tells the martial arts students to get their combat gear and weapons ready. He also warns that the martial arts exam is dangerous and that anyone with an ability below D level should not take part. At the back of the class, an E-ranked student named Xu Jingming thinks the warning might be for him. Xu Jingming has come back to this world called Blue Star, which has technology like his old world, but is full of dangers. Ferocious beasts and awakened people with special powers live here. Everyone awakens their ability at 16, and these powers are divided into 9 levels, with most people between rank F and D. Xu Jingming's is E-grade weak electricity, which is about as strong as a stun baton. A fellow student confronts Xu Jingming, saying that even after the teacher's warning, he still plans to take the martial arts exam. The student mocks him, calling him E-grade trash and saying that taking the exam will only bring shame to the school. He adds that Xu Jingming should just choose the liberal arts track and become a low-paid clerk in his company. A female student, Lin Qingli, tells the boy Huang Tian to mind his business. Huang Tian looks serious and says that he will show her who the best is in the unified exam. As he walks away, he adds that Xu Jingming will only die on the exam grounds. Lin Qingli turns her attention to Xu Jingming and tells him not to mind Huang Tian's words. She reminds him that everyone has their own value and gently suggests that he consider changing his major to liberal arts, saying that living an ordinary life in the city would not be bad. Xu Jingming remains silent, deep in thought. In the Great Xia Kingdom where he lives, higher education is divided into 2 main paths, liberal arts and martial arts. As he looks at his exam registration form, he reflects that those with weak abilities or no confidence in combat usually choose the liberal arts track to live as ordinary citizens. However, those who take the martial arts path must enter a special examination site and fight deadly beasts during the unified exam. Only by surviving can they enter an ability user university. After years of training under instructors, they can break through the unranked stage and become true ranked ability users with great power. Xu Jingming understands that both his teacher and Lin Qingli are worried about his safety if he takes the martial arts exam. Yet, in a world filled with constant danger, he knows that even if he avoids the martial arts exam and its high death rate, he cannot escape the threat of beast attacks that could happen anytime. His parents in this world died during a beast tide, and he does not want to face such a tragedy again without the power to protect himself. With that thought, he decides firmly to take the martial arts exam. Later that evening, inside a quiet training room, a lone figure is seen practicing hard. It is Xu Jingming, training with a long spear charged with weak electricity. After a while, he grows exhausted and collapses to the floor, unable to continue. Since awakening his ability, he has chosen the long spear as his weapon and has trained with it for 2.5 years. Despite his effort, his proficiency remains at the beginner level. However, his spear technique, Lightning Gale Breaks, which cost 300,000 to buy, slightly enhances his strength, making him a bit stronger than the average E-class awakened individual. Still, he knows that the death rate among martial arts students below D-class rises every year. If he wants to enter an awakened university, he must fight with everything he has. With determination, he clenches his fist. At that moment, a faint blue system interface suddenly appears before him. Startled, he sits up quickly as a message flashes across the screen, showing that the system has been activated and asking if he wants to claim the newbie package. Xu Jingming stares in surprise, realizing that this might be the cheat system granted to transmigrators. The interface reveals that the gift package contains an S-rank super ability and 200 ability points. Seeing the message on the interface, Xu Jingming realizes that even in a great nation like Xiahua, it usually takes 3 to 4 years for someone to awaken an S-rank ability. Once such an ability appears, the top ability universities compete fiercely to recruit the person, pouring countless resources into their growth until they become a top-tier powerhouse. With this understanding, Xu Jingming feels a spark of hope. As an E-rank individual once considered trash, he now sees a chance to change his fate. Without hesitation, he reaches toward the interface and claims the newbie gift package. Instantly, he receives 200 ability points and an S-rank super ability called Purple Cloud Thunder God's Lightning. A surge of violent lightning energy bursts within his body as the transformation begins. The system shows a progress bar rising rapidly from 10% to 30%. A massive shockwave follows, shattering the training room windows as bright lightning crackles across the air. People on the streets notice the explosion of light and thunder. One person, seeing the shattered windows and electric arcs, quickly tries to call the fire department, worried that someone might be injured. Inside, Xu Jingming continues to endure the transformation. The pain is intense, and he mutters weakly that it hurts as the progress bar climbs to 70%. Outside, the sky suddenly darkens, and a gigantic lightning dragon forms in the clouds. A man in a nearby building senses the immense power and feels an overwhelming pressure descend. He suspects that a powerful lightning-type ferocious beast may be invading the city. Acting quickly, he orders his subordinate to place Zhongcheng's 3rd Legion on high alert, and the command is immediately acknowledged. Meanwhile, the lightning dragon descends violently toward the building where Xu Jingming is located. At the same moment, the progress bar finally reaches 100%, marking the completion of his transformation. Xu Jingming clenches his fist, now surrounded by brilliant arcs of lightning. He feels the immense power of his new S-rank ability, Purple Heaven Divine Thunder, a force completely beyond the weak electric baton he once had. A single strike from this power, he realizes, could easily shatter a human body. Looking around, he notices the damage he caused. The training room is in ruins, walls scorched, and the floor cracked from the lightning strikes. He realizes that the commotion was too big, but feels relieved that he managed to restrain himself slightly. Otherwise, the entire building could have been destroyed. Remembering the 200 ability points he received, he checks the system interface again. The panel explains that ability points can be earned by killing ferocious beasts and can be spent to enhance levels and skills. It also mentions that he can view his ability points and upgrade options through the system's personal status panel. Excited by this discovery, Xu Jingming opens the panel and looks at his personal stats displayed before him. Xu Jingming remembers that the unified exam will take place tomorrow, and he knows he must use the 200 ability points carefully to strengthen himself as much as possible before then. Determined to maximize his combat power, he focuses on the glowing system interface before him. With a steady breath, he gives the command for the system to allocate the points on his behalf. As Xu Jingming clicks on the system interface, he decides to first enhance his 2 basic attributes, body and mind, since the essence of superpowers depends on both. Once the ability points are allocated, he immediately feels a surge of strength within him. His blood energy and mental power expand rapidly, and he understands for the first time how it feels to grow stronger in both body and spirit. To test the results, he throws a simple punch. A burst of violet lightning explodes from his fist, sending out a powerful shockwave that shakes the air. He realizes that after improving his basic attributes, both his combat techniques and energy control become more fluid and powerful. Looking back at the interface, he notices that both his body and mind stats have increased by 20 points. He quickly calculates that each ability point equals 0.2 blood energy or 0.2 hertz of mental power. Seeing this, he becomes confident that with his current strength, passing the unified exam and entering a superpower university will be no problem. He starts to wonder about his standing among the over 700,000 students in Jiangnan province. He is curious how he now compares to those prodigies who have trained under elite mentors since childhood. Gripping his spear firmly, he decides to visit the martial hall to test his new strength. Just then, a loud crash echoes through the room as the door bursts open. A group of firefighters rushes in, holding a water nozzle pump, saying they received a call about a possible fire. Xu Jingming stands frozen for a moment before quickly explaining that the disturbance was caused by energy fluctuations from his training and that everything is under control. The firefighters glance around, realizing there is no danger. Their captain sighs, orders the team to retreat, and mutters about how all the commotion was over a student practicing his powers. They soon leave the building. Later, Xu Jingming walks down the street with his spear slung across his shoulders. A few neighbors wave to him, asking if everything is fine after the noise from earlier. He smiles and assures them that it was nothing serious. Uncle Yang, a friendly neighbor, stops him and asks if he is heading to the martial arts hall. Xu Jingming nods, saying that he is going there for more practice. Uncle Yang praises his dedication, noting that the entrance exam is tomorrow. yet he is still training, unlike his own son. In this world, for an awakened person to become a true superpower user, both physical strength and mental focus must be trained together. Martial halls, which offer training grounds and instruction, have become common across the country. However, not every family can afford private training rooms, so public halls play an important role. When Xu Jingming arrives at the front of the martial arts hall building, he recalls that the two most famous chain martial halls in the Shan Nation are Thunderclap and Violent Bear. Violent Bear Hall, with its annual fee of 100,000, caters to wealthy students, while Thunderclap Martial Hall provides free access for high school students. Naturally, he heads into Thunderclap Hall. Inside the hallway, he spots a group of high school students chatting. Among them, he notices his cousin, Tang Chi, smiling and talking with a few friends. Xu Jingming walks up to her and asks why she is at Thunderclap Martial Hall. She replies that she came with a friend. He nods and tells her that he is heading to the training room, then walks away. As she watches him leave, Tang Chi feels that something about him seems different from before, his presence, even the way he carries himself. Her friend notices too and asks who that boy is, remarking that he looks rather handsome. Tang Chi replies that he is her cousin, a senior like them, and that he will also be taking the martial arts exam tomorrow. A male student teases Tang Chi's friend, Xiaoya, asking why she is asking so many questions and if she is already crushing on Xu Jingming. Xiaoya responds excitedly that with a face like his, as long as he is not weak, he would make a great boyfriend and attract attention anywhere. Tang Chi quickly tells her that Xu Jingming only awakened an E-rank ability, which immediately dims Xiaoya's enthusiasm. The male student comments that for Jingming to compete in the martial exam with only an E-rank ability, he must be very brave. Tang Chi frowns and snaps that it is far too dangerous, saying she would rather he not take the exam at all. Xiaoya gently pulls her aside, reminding her that they came to check out the Thunderclap Martial Hall, not to argue. Tang Chi agrees, mentioning that she has trained at Violent Bear Hall all 3 years of high school, so this is her first time here. Xiaoya smiles, saying that relaxing before the exam is good for the mind. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming stands in the training hall, gripping his spear. He notices it feels lighter than before, and realizes it might be because his physique has grown stronger. Since the unified exam is tomorrow, he knows he has no time to search for a better weapon. He decides to test his current strength without using any power enhancement. With a smooth motion, he thrusts the spear into the strength tester. The training room structure, made of memory metal, absorbs the hit and begins to repair itself automatically. When he checks the results, he sees that his raw physical strength has doubled, reaching around 200 calories, while most awakened individuals can only reach 100 calories. Encouraged, he decides to test his Purple Heaven Divine Thunder. Lightning flashes around him as he channels the power into his strike. The damage testing equipment displays a shocking value of 3,021 calories. Xu Jingming's heart races with excitement. This is the true might of an S-rank ability. He knows that even an average first-tier power user only reaches about 1,000 calories, yet he is already producing 3 times that number before even officially reaching the first tier. He realizes this is not his full strength and decides to test his trump card, a combination of physical strength, power enhancement, and combat technique. He takes a deep breath, positions himself in a stable stance, and channels all his energy into one focused attack. Lightning flickers wildly as he launches his signature move, Lightning Gale. The explosion of power shakes the entire floor, sending waves of energy throughout the hall. Students nearby freeze in shock, feeling the pressure from the shockwave. The same male student from earlier senses the disturbance and says that the power fluctuation is strong enough to belong to a ranked ability user. Xiaoya frowns, saying that this floor is reserved for high school students and that all the known prodigies who reached that level early train at Violent Bear Hall. The male student suggests that maybe one of those prodigies came here to try Thunderclap Hall, or perhaps a new powerful student has appeared. Tang Chi insists that they should check it out, saying that the energy seems to have come from close by. As they walk down the corridor, they meet Xu Jingming, who says he is heading home early to rest and prepare for the exam. Tang Chi wishes him good luck for tomorrow, smiling warmly. Before they can say more, the male student interrupts impatiently, saying they should forget about Jingming and find where the energy came from. They follow the trail and reach the training room Xu Jingming had just left. The moment they step inside, their eyes widen in disbelief. The room is completely wrecked. The damage tester is shattered. The walls are cracked with a massive dent in the center, and scorch marks cover the floor. Tang Qi and her friends stand frozen, unable to comprehend how such destruction could have been caused by a single person. Xiaoya feels shocked when she sees the damage on the memory metal. She wonders what kind of power could break through something so strong and doubts that any high school student in Zhangcheng could do it. The male student nearby believes it was not a high schooler, saying the remaining energy still carries a wild force. He guesses it might have been a second-order ability user who entered this level by mistake and used the training room to test their strength. The other students agree, saying no high schooler could release such a powerful attack, not even a genius from the provincial capital, let alone someone from Zhangcheng. Still, Xiaoya cannot shake the thought that Xu Jingming was the only one who passed through earlier. She suspects he might be the one responsible, thinking maybe he has been hiding his true strength and is waiting to surprise everyone at the martial arts exam. The others laugh at her idea, saying she must have read too many fantasy novels. They claim Xu Jingming is only an E rank awakened with a weak attack power of about 300 Dao. Meanwhile, Tang Qi's friend points out that both hallways lead outside, so the mysterious powerhouse might have left through the other one. He thinks that's why they missed seeing them. Tang Qi studies the hole in the memory metal and notices marks that look like they came from a spear. The sight makes her think of Xu Jingming. The next morning, on the day of the martial arts exam, students step out of their school buses, excited and nervous. Xu Jingming arrives too, holding his spear with a calm, confident look. Around him, students talk about the exam site and express fear after spotting a unicorn rhino, a beast much stronger than they expected. They complain that exams usually involve weaker creatures like shadow cats or iron-furred pigs, and this year's test seems much harsher. Another student mocks them, saying anyone scared of such a beast has no right to attend an ability user university. Xu Jingming asks his friend Liu Jie who the arrogant student is. Liu Jie explains that it's Zhou Minyang, also known as the Gentle Wind Sword, from First High. Zhou has a B-rank ability called Light and Swift Gale, and has already advanced to first-order ability user status. Xu Jingming realizes that Zhou must be the genius expected to top this year's martial arts exam. He quietly wonders which of them is stronger. Soon after, a loud command for attention rings out. A stern officer steps forward, introducing himself as Wang Haiyang, the commander-in-chief of the Zhangcheng martial arts exam. He reminds everyone of the key rules before the test begins. The exam will start at 9 a.m. and end at 9 p.m., lasting a total of 12 hours. It will take place in the ruined town behind him. As in previous years, the area is divided into 4 parts: the outer perimeter, central area, inner circle, and core zone. Each section contains vicious beasts of different strengths, and the students will earn varying points based on the rank and difficulty of the beasts they defeat. The commander-in-chief continues his briefing with a serious tone, stressing that the core area of the exam site is like the extra credit section on a regular test meant only for the top students. He warns everyone to act within their limits and not risk their lives for a few extra points. Xu Jingming listens carefully and thinks to himself that before yesterday, he would have only stayed in the outer perimeter. But now, he feels confident enough to aim for the inner circle, and maybe even the core area. Afterward, Wang Haiyang announces that exam supplies will be distributed. He instructs everyone to line up and collect them from their homeroom teachers. Jingming receives his supplies from teacher Chen Fan, who explains that there are 3 items. The first is a smartwatch that records the number and type of beasts killed and tracks points in real time. The second is a tactical backpack containing 3 energy bars, 1 energy drink, and a disposable medical kit enough for 12 hours of endurance. The third is a safety sphere that, when activated, creates a high-voltage electric net that ordinary beasts cannot break through. However, using it ends the exam immediately. Chen Fan reminds Jingming that his life is more important than any score, and Jingming feels grateful for his concern. Nearby, Lin Qingli calls out to Jingming and invites him to join her team. Lu Ji, who recently awakened a C-rank ability, assures Jingming that he'll have his back once they enter the site. But before Jingming can answer, 2 other students from the same team interrupt. They tell Lin Qingli that she cannot always try to please everyone, reminding her that each team can only have 5 members. They argue that letting Jingming join would lower their chances of getting a high score. Liu Jie becomes angry and confronts them for breaking their promise at the last minute. The two students respond coldly, saying they didn't expect Jingming to even take the exam and don't want to carry someone as weak as him. Liu Jie is about to argue again, but Jingming stops him. He appreciates Lin Qingli's kindness, but says he plans to go alone. Lin Qingli and Liu Jie reluctantly agree, while the other two urge them to team up with Huang Tian instead. Jingming simply gives a confident smile, thinking to himself that he can still achieve a high score even without a team. Soon after, an announcement declares the official start of the 2037 Jiangqing Martial Arts College entrance exam. Drones rise into the air to serve as live broadcast cameras, capturing every moment. Students charge into the exam site, each determined to prove themselves. Jingming runs forward with them, tapping his smartwatch. A confirmation voice echoes, listing his school information before displaying the real-time leaderboard. The top 3 spots already belong to students from First High, which makes Jingming eager to catch up. He decides to head straight toward the core area, knowing it's a long and dangerous journey. After moving through the ruined town for a while, Jingming comes across a gruesome scene. A dead examinee lies on the ground with a brutal wound. It looks like the student didn't even have time to use the safety sphere. Jingming now understands why his teacher urged him to withdraw from the exam. If not for his S-rank ability, he might have ended up the same way. He calls the logistics team through the examinee's smartwatch to report the body. As he stands up, he reflects that opportunity always comes with danger. Not everyone gets the chance to challenge fate and change their destiny. Suddenly, he senses movement behind him. A vicious beast emerges from a nearby building, its eyes fixed on him. Jingming quickly realizes that the creature must have left the examinee barely alive as bait to ambush anyone who got close. It's a trap. The vicious beast bares its fangs and slowly advances toward Jingming before suddenly charging. Jingming reacts instantly, leaping aside with ease. He studies the creature's movements and features: an agile body, sharp claws, and a bite force strong enough to crush bone. From its power and speed, he knows it's a true newbie killer. The beast growls furiously as Jingming grips his spear, ready to fight. He recalls that fierce beasts possess a special aura, a violent, oppressive energy that can overwhelm weaker opponents. Many awakened people lose control of their strength the first time they face such creatures, unable to even resist. Wealthy families usually hire skilled bodyguards to help their children get used to this pressure, but Jingming never had that luxury. This is his first real fight against a fierce beast. As the beast lunges to kill, Jingming focuses and channels his ability into his spear. In one swift motion, he strikes, killing the beast instantly. The ferocious aura has no effect on him. The system interface appears before him, confirming that he has defeated one unranked fierce beast, a shadow cat, and earned 3 ability points. Jingming realizes that killing fierce beasts grants ability points, which can be used to strengthen himself. However, unranked beasts provide very few points. Since their aura doesn't bother him, he decides there's no reason to stay in the outer area any longer and begins heading toward the central zone. Along the way, he continues to hunt and defeat more beasts, collecting more points as he goes. After a while, Jingming notes that although he's gained a good amount of points, what he truly lacks is real combat experience. Using his S-rank ability, Purple Heaven Divine Thunder can easily kill unranked beasts, but it doesn't help him grow. Moreover, high-rank abilities consume too much energy. If he used his full strength, he wouldn't last an hour, whereas his old E-rank power could last over 3. Since the exam lasts for 12 hours, he decides he must conserve his energy. He chooses to rely on his spear alone for now, improving his skill through battle. While moving deeper into the area, a massive unicorn rhino suddenly charges at him. Jingming reacts without hesitation, jumping high, spinning mid-air, and driving his spear straight down into the beast's head. The creature collapses instantly. Jingming lands and realizes how much faster and smoother his attacks have become. Curious, he checks his system interface and discovers that his spear technique has advanced to the intermediate level. He feels a rush of satisfaction, recognizing that real combat experience has significantly strengthened him. The improvement makes him feel unstoppable, and he begins to wonder what kind of power awaits if he can push his spear technique even further. Suddenly, his mind fills with vivid images of new, advanced spear techniques. The sensation excites him, and he can't wait to test his growing power against a first-rank fierce beast. Lin Qingli's team moves cautiously through the ruined streets, not far from where Jingming fights. In a blur, Jingming speeds past them, moving so fast that Lin Qingli only catches a faint silhouette. She feels certain she just saw Xu Jingming. but the others dismiss it, saying she must be imagining things. Liu Ji, however, grows worried and wonders how Jingming is holding up. Moments later, one of the teammates spots a massive dead unicorn rhino nearby and calls everyone's attention to it. Lin Qingli examines the wound and notes that the blood is still fresh, meaning the beast was killed only a few minutes ago. Another teammate studies the deep, clean puncture wound and concludes that it must have been made by a spear. Lin Qingli immediately thinks of Jing Ming and wonders if he could be the one responsible. The others, however, find it hard to believe. They argue that this kind of fierce beast usually requires at least a C rank awakened to defeat alone, so they can't imagine how Jing Ming, an E rank, could possibly do it. One of them then suggests checking the live rankings to be sure. When they pull up the leaderboard, they are stunned to see Xu Jingming's name among the top 50 rankers. Even then, several teammates still refuse to believe it's really him. Outside the exam site, in the viewing stands, the audience watches the live broadcast with excitement. They talk about how the first high school continues to dominate, with nearly all of the top 10 spots under their control. Zhou Minyoung, ranked first with 412 points, seems certain to claim the city's top student title. Some spectators remark that it has been years since Jiangcheng produced a provincial top 100 student, and wonder if Zhou Minyoung might finally break that streak. Zhang Wenshen, the director of Jiangcheng's Education Bureau, speaks confidently. He praises Zhou Minyoung, calling him their ace, and says his ability, Nimble Gale, is powerful enough to compete at the provincial level. He believes Zhou will easily place within the top 100 in Jiangnan province. Zhang then compliments the first high school's principal, saying their results reflect strong leadership, to which the principal humbly credits the director's guidance. Turning to the other principals, Zhang remarks that the third high school has performed well, as one of their students managed to break into the top 10. However, he adds that the second high school needs to improve, since their best student is only ranked 18th. The second high principal, Zhao Yao, can only nod politely, though inside he feels uneasy. Zhao Yao quietly worries that only 8 of his students are within the top 50. He mentally urges the rest, including Xu Jingming, to perform better, though he can't recall anyone by that name in the advanced class. Meanwhile, Chen Fan, Jingming's homeroom teacher, sits frozen in disbelief as he spots Jingming's name on the leaderboard. He knows Jingming awakened only an E-rank ability, so seeing him in the top 50 feels impossible. He starts to wonder if Jingming has been hiding his true strength all along, but even then, he can't comprehend how an E-rank ability could suddenly evolve into something on par with an S-rank. Chen Fan tries to find Xu Jingming's footage on the live broadcast, but the stream only focuses on the top 10 contestants. With no video of Jingming's actions, he can't understand how his student managed to reach such a high score so quickly. Meanwhile, deep in the central area of the exam site, where the danger level rises sharply, Xu Jingming moves through the ruins with steady steps. He eats an energy bar to recover his stamina while observing his surroundings. He notices that the number of fierce beasts has dropped sharply since entering this zone. He reasons that ranked fierce beasts are far more intelligent and territorial than unranked ones, which makes them harder to locate and even more dangerous to fight. As he continues forward, the ground suddenly shakes. A massive arm-blade tiger, a first-rank fierce beast, bursts through the wreckage, sending 2 abandoned vehicles flying with a single swipe. Its roar echoes through the ruins as it locks its glowing eyes on Jingming. Jingming tightens his grip on his spear, his expression calm yet determined. He thinks his luck has turned out well. He has just stepped into the central area and already found a worthy opponent. This is the perfect chance to test the power of his newly improved spear technique. With that resolve, he charges straight toward the roaring beast, lightning faintly crackling around his weapon. The first-tier armored tiger shows its power as it lunges at Xu Jingming, but Jingming quickly realizes that its strength is not as great as he expected. He thinks that only a tiger king could make him use a bit more effort. With calm precision, he attacks using his spear. The strike leaves a deep wound on the beast, but the armored tiger continues to resist fiercely, roaring as it struggles to fight back. Jingming understands that this kind of endurance is normal for a first-tier fierce beast, yet its efforts are in vain. He strikes again, this time piercing through its defense completely. The massive creature collapses, defeated. The system interface flashes a notification. He has earned 14 ability points. Jingming notes that the points gained from a first-tier fierce beast are nearly double those from an unranked one, realizing that the stronger the opponent, the higher the point multiplier. He begins to view the exam site, dangerous to others, as a rare treasure ground for growth. Knowing that such an opportunity may never come again, he decides to make full use of the time to collect as many ability points as possible. At this point, Jingming's name rises to number 32 on the ranking board. The teachers monitoring the live data confirm his identity with Chen Fan, who assures them that Xu Jingming is indeed his student. A woman among the staff notices that most of the top 50 rankers are from Chen Fan's class and praises him for his effective teaching, believing it reflects his excellent guidance and training approach. Because of this, Director Zhang suggests that in the second half of the year, they should invite teacher Chen Fan to give a lecture and share his teaching methods with other instructors. However, Chen Fan does not wish to take credit for the students' success. He insists that their performance is the result of their own hard work and dedication, not just his guidance. As they continue discussing, one of the teachers suddenly notices that Xu Jingming's rank has risen again from number 32 to number 3325, and that he has gained an additional 44 points almost instantly. Director Zhang recalls the scoring system for the martial arts exam. Defeating a peak unranked fierce beast grants around 6 to 8 points, while a first-tier low-grade beast gives 14 to 16 points. Based on this, and seeing that Jingming's point updates occur every 4 seconds, it means that in just 4 seconds, he has either slain 5 peak unranked beasts or 3 first-tier low-grade ones. Such speed and efficiency are unheard of in recent years. Impressed, Director Zhang remarks that Xu Jingming is clearly a promising student, though he admits he has never heard of his name before. Principal Zhao agrees, saying he also just recently learned about Jingming. He then suggests that if the director wants to understand the situation better, he should hear from Jingming's class teacher, Chen Fan. The principal calls Chen Fan over to explain. Chen calmly describes how Jingming once awakened an E-grade ability called weak electricity. This revelation shocks the principal, who assumes Chen Fan must be mistaken, but Chen confirms that he remembers correctly. He even recalls advising Jingming before the college entrance exam not to take the martial arts test, because at the time, he believed Jingming's E-grade ability would not give him a chance to pass. Before Chen can finish his explanation, Director Zhang interjects, saying that if Jingming can perform this well with only an E-grade ability, then he must possess extraordinary qualities in other areas, such as combat instinct, technique, or adaptability. His curiosity grows even stronger, and he eagerly looks forward to seeing whether Jingming can continue his momentum and break into the top 10. Before long, Xu Jingming breaks into the top 10, reaching the 9th position on the leaderboard. His cousin, Tang Qi, ranks 12th. At that moment, Tang Qi realizes that Jingming must have been the mysterious figure responsible for the powerful strike he witnessed the previous day. Meanwhile, Mingyang, who currently holds first place, notices the sudden appearance of a new name in the top 10. He wonders who this Xu Jingming is and how a newcomer could climb so high when there are still 6 hours left before the exam ends. The name feels unfamiliar to him, sparking both curiosity and caution. Jingming, however, pays no attention to the rankings. He focuses entirely on slaying every fierce beast that crosses his path, earning ability points at an astonishing pace. His primary goal is efficiency, and he knows that hunting within the central area yields the greatest rewards. As he moves deeper into the region, he suddenly spots a hovering camera drone tracking his every move. It's only then that he realizes he must have entered the top 10, as those at the top are usually monitored for live broadcast coverage. Jingming understands the purpose of the martial arts college entrance exam to test a candidate's true strength and potential. The stronger one performs, the greater the recognition and opportunity afterward. He has no intention of hiding his abilities, knowing that being in the top 10 is only the beginning of what he aims to achieve. Still, before entering the core area, he decides to strengthen himself further. Despite accumulating over 300 ability points, the system has not yet shown any sign of a breakthrough notification. From this, he concludes that advancing from an awakened to an ability user requires learning a proper ability cultivation method. So, he chooses to continue improving his basic attributes, increasing his physique and spirit to maximize his combat capability. With his stats enhanced, he finally sets his sights on the core area. The core area is known to be the most dangerous part of the examination zone, inhabited by 9 armored tigers. From a distance, Jingming observes them carefully. Among them, the one in the center stands out, its body larger, its aura more intense, and its arm blades much longer than the rest. He immediately recognizes it as the armored tiger king. Excitement fills him at the sight, as he knows that defeating such a powerful beast would bring him a great harvest of ability points. But just as he prepares to make his move, he senses another presence nearby, someone hiding and watching him. Realizing he's being tailed, Jingming stops in his tracks and calls out for the hidden observer to reveal themselves. To Jingming's surprise, the hidden observer turns out to be none other than Zhou Mingyang himself. Even Mingyang is startled that Jingming managed to detect him while he was concealing his presence. He studies Jingming closely, puzzled by his ordinary-looking physique, which doesn't match what he expected from someone powerful enough to enter the core area. It's hard for him to believe that this is the same Xu Jingming who suddenly appeared in the top 10. Jingming, on the other hand, is taken aback that Mingyang knows who he is. Mingyang explains that he's familiar with every strong student capable of reaching the core area except for Jingming. So, seeing a completely new face emerge among the elite caught his attention. Mingyang then mentions that he has been observing the group of armored tigers for some time. Jingming frowns slightly, interpreting his words as an attempt to claim his prey. Before the misunderstanding deepens, Mingyang raises his hand calmly and explains that he has no intention of stealing the kill. He points out that the Armored Tiger King is a first-tier mid-grade ferocious beast, and with 9 armored tigers moving as a coordinated pack, even the strongest individual would struggle to take them all on alone. For that reason, Mingyang suggests they cooperate and take down the beasts together. But Jingming firmly declines the offer, stating with quiet confidence that he can handle them by himself. Mingyang decides to stay back and watch, curious to see whether Jingming is walking straight to his death by confronting the pack of arm-blade tigers alone, or if he truly possesses some extraordinary power. Within moments, Jingming channels his energy, violet lightning crackling faintly around him as he charges forward. His movements are sharp and precise. Each thrust of his spear pierces through a tiger's defenses, striking vital points with overwhelming force. One by one, the first-order arm-blade tigers fall, their massive bodies hitting the ground with heavy thuds. With every kill, Jingming's ability points rise rapidly. However, as the battle drags on, fatigue starts to weigh on him. His physical strength has been pushed to its limit, and he finds it difficult to maintain his pace. The few remaining beasts sense his exhaustion and let out a deafening roar that shakes the surroundings. The sound is so intense that even Mingyang, hiding in the distance, instinctively covers his ears in pain. Yet Jingming stands firm, lightning flickering around his body as he glares at the roaring beast. He mutters coldly that such intimidation might work on others, but not on him. With renewed focus, he strikes again. His spear flashes with violet light, tearing through the final tigers in a series of blinding bursts until silence fills the area. Mingyang watches in utter disbelief. He can hardly comprehend that Jingming managed to annihilate the entire group of ferocious beasts on his own. Meanwhile, Jingming stands amidst the fallen tigers, breathing heavily but smiling faintly. The surge of ability points fills his interface, each one proof of his growing strength. He realizes that by the time the college entrance exam ends, no one will be able to guess just how many points he will have accumulated. Strength, he thinks, is built from opportunity, and this battlefield is his treasure ground. As he turns to leave in search of more beasts, Mingyang rushes after him, shouting for him to stop. He wants to know how Jingming managed to wipe out the tiger pack so effortlessly with just a spear. Was his power some kind of physical reinforcement ability? But Jingming doesn't slow down. Leaping up onto a nearby building roof, he answers briefly over his shoulder that he's lightning type. Mingyang frowns at the response, skeptical. He mutters to himself that Jingming must be hiding the truth. No lightning type awakened could fight like that. Still, deep down, he feels uneasy. With the way Jingming's momentum is building, it's only a matter of time before his own rank is threatened. And then, as if to confirm his fear, the system interface flashes before his eyes. The leaderboard updates. Xu Jingming now stands at rank 1 with 1,122 points, overtaking Mingyang, who drops to rank 2 with 985 points. For the first time, the city's top genius finds himself looking up at someone else's name. The teachers, the principal, and Director Zhang already see the update. Director Zhang feels the most impressed because Jingming, at only 18 years old, has already mastered advanced spearmanship. This confirms to him that Jingming is truly a genius. With Jingming's strong performance, Director Zhang believes Zhongcheng Second High School can make it into the province's top 100. He informs the principal that after the college entrance exam, he plans to propose a commendation for their school. Principal Zhao feels delighted and surprised, as he never imagined the school would gain such recognition because of Jingming. 3 hours later, in the core zone, Mingyang wanders around, confused about why he hasn't seen any fierce beasts. Other members tell him to ask Jingming about it. When Mingyang meets them, he notices they are all gathered together. They explain that Jingming has already killed all the fierce beasts in the core zone, so they teamed up just to stay warm. Mingyang finds it hard to believe, thinking it's impossible for one person to defeat so many beasts alone. Tang Qi then points out Jingming's score, showing that Mingyang hasn't been following the updates. On the screen, Jingming's points stand at 3,435, while Mingyang has only 1,103. Shocked, Mingyang can't believe the huge difference. Tang Qi calculates that Jingming has already defeated nearly 200 fierce beasts in the core zone. Realizing this, Mingyang finally understands why Jingming was so protective of his kills before he had everything planned from the start. Tang Qi informs Mingyang that since only a few hours remain before the combat exam ends, they plan to team up and challenge the innermost core zone. Mingyang thinks about it and realizes that the beasts in that area are at least first-order upper rank or even second-order beast kings. He feels that entering alone would be the same as walking to his death. Meng Di, who is ranked 4th on the board, explains that this is exactly why they are forming a team. She asks if Mingyang wants to join, and without hesitation, he agrees. Meanwhile, Jingming is in another area, where he has already defeated many fierce beasts. He decides to take a short rest since his supplies are running low and the combat exam is almost over. However, he knows that if he wants to gain more ability points, he must go deeper into the core zone. He remembers that second-order beasts exist in the innermost zone, so he needs to strengthen himself first. Checking his personal stats board, he sees that he has 2,413 points and decides to use them to enhance his spear. After finishing the upgrade, he prepares to move into the innermost core, eager to see what kind of second-order beast has been placed there for the exam. At the same time, the other members are also making their way toward the same area. The other team members reach the innermost core zone before Jingming. When they arrive, they see a huge bloodthirsty savage bear waiting deep inside. From the first glance, Mingyang realizes that they are in serious danger. Meng Di also understands the situation clearly, knowing that the bear's hide is as tough as E-grade alloy. Even a missile would not be able to damage its skin, and one strike from its massive paw could easily destroy their entire team. Tang Qi begins to feel uneasy and starts thinking that it is better to give up the mission. She believes that if they provoke the bear, they will face certain death. From her observation, she can already sense that the area is filled with several first-level high-rank fierce beasts guarding the savage bear. The moment anyone steps into that compound, they will be wiped out completely. Feeling the pressure and fear of losing her life for a few exam points, Tang Qi decides to withdraw from the team. Just as Tang Qi turns to leave, Meng Di notices someone approaching the beasts and quickly calls her attention. Tang Qi looks back and is shocked to see that it is Jingming walking straight toward the savage bear. Meng Di becomes deeply impressed by Jingming's boldness and confidence, while Mingyang feels jealous seeing how much attention Jingming receives. Wu Hao, on the other hand, believes that Jingming is only walking toward his death by challenging those beasts alone. Jingming has already started fighting them fearlessly. Tang Qi feels worried for him and decides to step in to help before he gets into real danger. However, her teammates criticize her for wanting to interfere, as they think it is a foolish move. Despite their objections, Tang Qi insists on helping Jingming, reminding them that he is her cousin and she cannot just stand by while he risks his life. While they continue arguing, a sudden flash of light bursts from where Jingming stands. He unleashes his purple thunder magic, and its power is so strong that the brightness spreads across the entire area. The team feels the intensity of the strike, and Mingyang silently wonders if this is the same type of thunder magic Jingming mentioned earlier during their discussion. As Jingming continues using his superpower, he realizes that relying on physical strength alone is not enough to handle the large number of first-level high-rank ferocious beasts surrounding him. He decides to depend entirely on his superpower for the fight. When he activates it, he immediately feels how overwhelming and powerful the energy is. Observing the battlefield carefully, he notices that the bloodthirsty savage bear is massive but not very agile. He calculates that if he combines his attacks with the divine thunder of the 9 heavens, he should be able to manage the situation. Still, he understands that if the main battle begins, the smaller bears around the savage bear will become a serious distraction. To avoid that, he plans to eliminate them first. He starts by killing one of the smaller beasts and gains 13 additional superpower points. As he continues fighting, he becomes surprised by the incredible strength brought by the S-grade enhancement flowing through his body. The lightning energy inside him boosts his power greatly, but it also feels unstable and dangerous. He knows he cannot maintain this heightened state for long, yet he is confident that it will be enough to finish the remaining beasts. Jingming keeps attacking until only the savage bear remains. He faces the bear directly, striking it with both his spear and his thunder-infused power. After several clashes, he switches focus to eliminate the rest of the smaller beasts completely. By this time, the bear begins to move restlessly, and Jingming senses its growing anger as its underlings are being wiped out. He silently notes that he will return to deal with it soon once the battlefield is clear. However, the bear becomes impatient and charges straight at him, shaking the ground with its massive weight. Jingming reacts quickly, dodging its powerful strike with precision and rushes to finish off the last remaining beast. When the final creature falls, he finally feels a sense of relief. There are no more distractions left. Now standing face to face with the furious, bloodthirsty savage bear, Jingming prepares himself fully for the final battle. He steadies his weapon and channels his lightning energy, eager to find out if the bear's thick hide, like a living suit of armor, can truly withstand the might of his thunder. In no time, Jingming summons a massive surge of purple thunder that bursts down from the sky with overwhelming power. The energy radiating from it shakes the ground and fills the entire battlefield with dazzling light and roaring sound. The pressure from the thunderstorm is so intense that even his teammates watching from the rooftop can barely stand their ground. The powerful aura pushes against them, forcing them to step back as the energy waves spread across the area. At the same time, in the control room at Jiangcheng Second High School, the teachers, principal, and director Zhang are all glued to the large monitoring screen. The display of Jingming's power leaves everyone speechless. None of them expected an attack of such scale and intensity from a student they once believed to possess only an E-class ability. Director Zhang, witnessing the spectacle with his own eyes, begins to realize that Principal Zhao's earlier report about Jingming's low-level ability might have been wrong. What stands before them now is a level of strength far beyond anything an E-class could produce. Another instructor, deeply astonished, points out that judging by the destructive force and precision of Jingming's thunder, he could easily annihilate a high-tier rank 1 ferocious beast in an instant, and might even be capable of clashing evenly with a rank 2 boss-level creature. He explains that even most A-class ability users would find it nearly impossible to achieve such results, which makes Jingming's display even more unbelievable. Hearing this, Principal Zhao becomes overwhelmed with confusion. He cannot understand how Jingming's power could have advanced to this level without anyone noticing. He starts to wonder if what they are witnessing is a result of an ability mutation, something extremely rare but capable of altering a person's entire power system. Regardless of the cause, one thing becomes clear to him after what they have just witnessed. The name Jingming will spread throughout Great Xia, shaking the nation's martial world. Back on the battlefield, Jingming continues his fight against the massive, bloodthirsty savage bear. Despite launching several precise strikes with his spear, the attacks barely leave a scratch on the creature's body. The wounds are shallow, almost superficial. As he studies the results, Jingming confirms his earlier assumption. The bear is not just any ordinary second-rank beast, but a rare subspecies among rank 2 ferocious creatures. Its dense bristles act like armor, completely resistant to blades and spears, and more importantly, the creature's body does not conduct electricity, making Jingming's thunder-based attacks much less effective. Realizing this, Jingming quickly analyzes the situation and concludes that with his current level of strength, defeating the bloodthirsty violent bear in a single blow would be extremely difficult, especially since it means crossing 2 entire power tiers. He knows he will have to rely on endurance, strategy, and precision instead of brute force. Before he can fully adjust his plan, the bear lets out a deafening roar that echoes through the entire core zone. Its massive body glows faintly red as a wave of violent energy surges through it. The beast has activated its berserk skill. The transformation happens so suddenly that Jingming is caught off guard. He feels the air pressure shift violently, and from the bear's movements, he can tell that its speed and strength have increased dramatically. At that moment, Jingming realizes the truth. The bloodthirsty, violent bear is no longer just defending itself. It now genuinely hates him. The bloodthirsty savage bear's attacks grow even faster and more violent, forcing Jingming to move with full focus and precision. Each swing of the creature's massive claws tears through the air with frightening force, and Jingming has to dodge continuously to avoid being crushed. The intensity of the bear's strikes astonishes him, though he already understands that a ferocious beast in a berserk state naturally gains tremendous strength and speed. Through his observation, Jing Ming realizes that the bear has now completely lost its already limited intelligence. It has become nothing more than a raging killing machine that acts purely on instinct. Knowing this, he understands that clashing head-on would be far too dangerous. Instead, he decides to avoid the creature's sharp attacks and rely on his agility to keep his distance. His plan is to move strategically and wait for the right opportunity to land a decisive blow. After stalling for several minutes and studying the bear's movement pattern, Jing Ming finally gathers his energy and unleashes the nine heavens' divine lightning. The purple thunder roars through the air, engulfing the bear in a storm of divine power. However, to his surprise, the attack barely affects the creature. Even after half a minute of continuous lightning strikes, the bear stands tall, its thick, bristled hide absorbing most of the damage. Jing Ming is shocked to see that even his strongest ability fails to pierce the bear's defense. Still, he remains calm. He quickly realizes that brute force alone will not bring victory. Waiting patiently, he lets the bear exhaust some of its strength while observing its behavior. The moment the beast begins to activate its paralysis skill, Jing Ming sees his chance. Channeling all his remaining energy, he summons the power of his lightning gale magic at its advanced level. The air trembles as the lightning surges violently, and within seconds, a massive explosion erupts across the entire battlefield. The ground shakes, dust fills the air, and when the light fades, the bloodthirsty savage bear lies defeated. Jing Ming's system instantly updates, granting him 24 additional ability points. A wave of relief washes over him as he realizes the fight is finally over. It had been far more demanding than he expected, forcing him to upgrade his lightning gale from beginner to advanced just to claim victory. Even so, he feels grateful and proud that his power held strong when it mattered most. Back at the monitoring center, the teachers and students watching the broadcast are in complete disbelief. Director Zhang's expression shifts from astonishment to excitement as he declares that Xu Jingming has practically secured that year's provincial championship title in advance. He recalls that the previous year's top scorer had achieved a little over 8,000 points, but Jingming's current record is far beyond that. Although the battle lasts barely 2 minutes, Jingming finds it to be the most exhilarating and intense fight of his entire life. He takes a deep breath, letting the adrenaline fade, and begins to wonder how many points he will have after completely clearing the ferocious beasts in the entire core area. By the time the final phase of the combat exam approaches, Jingming's total score reaches an astonishing 10,835 points, while Zhou Mingyang remains at 1,103 points, and Wu Hao at 945 points. The massive gap leaves everyone stunned. No one at Zhangcheng Second High School, or even across the whole Jiangnan province, can believe what they are seeing. Jingming hasn't just broken a school record, he has completely shattered the provincial record. Jingming checks the time and realizes that the combat exam is almost over. He does not have much time left. After a quick thought, he decides that since he has already eliminated every fierce beast in the innermost circle and the core area, his next goal should be to head back to the central area and defeat as many remaining beasts as possible before time runs out. Determined not to waste a single second, he begins making his way out of the innermost zone. A few minutes later, Tang Qi and the rest of the team arrive at the scene. The destruction left behind speaks for itself. The massive Tier 2 Beast King lies motionless. Tang Qi can hardly believe her eyes. She never imagined that Jingming could single-handedly slay such a powerful creature. The realization fills her with both admiration and disbelief. Mingyang, standing beside her, looks confused as he watches Jingming walking away. He wonders why Jingming is still pushing forward when he already holds first place by a huge margin. To him, Jingming has nothing left to prove, yet he keeps going instead of ending the exam early, like everyone else. Meng Di studies Jingming's movement carefully and notices the direction he is taking. From his path, she can tell that he is heading straight toward the central area. The thought shocks her deeply. She realizes that Jingming is not satisfied with his current score. He intends to clear out the remaining beasts completely. The idea sounds almost impossible, yet seeing what Jingming has already accomplished, she knows he might actually do it. At this point, even Mingyang can no longer doubt Jingming's ability. He knows that with the speed and strength Jingming possesses, he truly has the power to achieve what no other student can. But that also means that if they do not move quickly, Jingming will wipe out all the remaining beasts before they can even earn a single extra point in the last hour. Understanding the urgency, Mingyang suggests that everyone split up and go individually to secure whatever points they can before the exam ends. Without hesitation, they all start running in the same direction that Jingming is heading. An hour later, the official broadcast announces the end of the 2037 Jiangcheng Martial Arts College entrance examination. The voice over the speakers instructs all candidates to return immediately, reminding them that any beasts killed after this point will no longer add to their scores. Tang Chi breathes a sigh of relief, finally letting go of the tension that had built up throughout the exam. Another student nearby complains bitterly, regretting that he failed to kill a beast that had just escaped him moments before the time ended. Yet another participant celebrates quietly, happy that he managed to pass despite the fierce competition. Meanwhile, Jingming stands silently in the middle of the battlefield, feeling a mixture of disappointment and calm. He is not happy that the exam ended so quickly. Even after achieving a record-breaking score, he still feels unsatisfied, wishing he had more time to fight. For him, the thrill of battle and the drive to test his limits mean more than just points or rankings. Soon after, all the candidates begin returning to the base camp. The atmosphere is filled with both excitement and exhaustion as students share their experiences. When Tang Chi reunites with her aunt, the older woman can hardly believe that the legendary Su Jingming she just saw on the broadcast is actually her niece's cousin. She asks for confirmation, and Tang Chi nods, admitting that he truly is her relative. Immediately, her aunt asks for Jingming's contact information, eager to reach out to him. However, Tang Chi refuses at first, reminding her aunt that she had previously shown no interest in him. With a teasing smile, Tang Chi says that she will have to think about whether she should share his contact details or not. While they are still discussing, a sudden announcement appears on the students' screens. Jingming is returning to the base. The moment everyone hears this, they all rush out in excitement, eager to catch a glimpse of him. The crowd becomes so intense that some students even start pushing each other just to get closer. As Jingming walks calmly through the crowd, everyone begins shouting his name, cheering and congratulating him for his unbelievable achievement. Their eyes are filled with admiration, treating him like a hero. But Mingyang, standing among them, wears a stern and slightly bitter expression. Deep down, he feels jealous because he knows that if things had gone differently, it might have been him receiving that attention instead. Wu Hao, standing beside him, notices his expression and tries to console him, reminding him that Jingming's strength is beyond ordinary and that Mingyang still did very well. Mingyang sighs and admits that he is content with his score after all. He says that he never expected anyone from the third high school to produce such a monster-level genius like Jingming. When Jingming reaches the front, the principal steps forward to congratulate him warmly. Smiling with pride, the principal decides to personally introduce Jingming to Director Zhang from the Education Bureau. Jingming greets the director respectfully, and after a short conversation, the principal tells Jingming that he does not need to take the bus back to school. Director Zhang will be giving him a ride himself. Jingming immediately agrees, happy with the idea. He knows that if he were to take the bus, the students would surround him with endless questions, and he wouldn't have a moment of peace. A few minutes later, he enters the director's car. As they drive, Director Zhang starts a friendly conversation, asking Jingming if he has already decided which superpower university he plans to attend. Jingming shakes his head slightly and explains that he has been so focused on improving his strength lately that he hasn't thought much about which university to choose. Director Zhang smiles and assures him that, with results like his, any university in the country would welcome him with open arms. He then explains that although there are hundreds of universities across the nation, most high-level superpower users come from only the top 3. The first is Qingjing Superpower University, located in the vital heartland of Great Xia. It is affiliated with the official organization, meaning that students who graduate can directly enter the national system and serve in key roles. The second is Modu Superpower University, where the current Tier 9 National Guardian graduated from. The school is located in a bustling coastal city with abundant resources and advanced technology. It also has many elite clubs, making it ideal for students who wish to pursue excellence and challenge themselves. The third is Jincheng Superpower University, which has a long history of over 200 years. It preserves ancient traditions and boasts a powerful and experienced faculty, offering a deep and profound atmosphere of learning. Director Zhang adds that all 3 universities possess top-tier superpower cultivation methods that are not made public, making them sacred grounds longed for by countless aspiring students. After listening carefully, Jingming nods with understanding. He tells Director Zhang that he knows awareness alone is not enough. It needs cultivation and proper training to truly evolve into a powerful superpower. But what truly sparks his curiosity is the unknown. He wonders what exactly those top-tier cultivation methods are. Director Zhang explains further that superpower training methods exist in different levels. He describes that with a beginner-level training method, most people with awareness need about 3 to 4 years to advance into superpower users. However, with a top-tier training method, the process becomes much faster. An awakened person can transform into a superpower user within just half a year. He assures Jingming that he does not need to worry because his results are outstanding enough to qualify him for special admission. The director believes that even the top 3 universities will offer him favorable conditions, giving him the freedom to choose whichever one he prefers. After hearing this explanation, Jingming feels grateful and now fully understands what he needs to know about superpower universities. The next morning, while taking his bath, Jingming checks his stats board again. He sees that his ability points have reached 2,534, which he believes is enough to qualify him for a superpower university. Still, he wonders if the universities hold fierce beast hunting competitions. If not, he thinks he might need to include regular wilderness training in his plans to keep improving his strength. Meanwhile, outside his home, Tang Qi arrives with her aunt, Qingwan. They notice that the door is already broken, and Tang Qi becomes surprised, unsure how it happened. Since the door is open, she decides that they should give Jingming a surprise visit and walks in without knocking. Inside, Jingming comes out from the bathroom and is shocked to see them. Tang Qi and her aunt are equally stunned by his sudden appearance and the messy state of the house. Qingwan has been the one caring for Jingming ever since his parents passed away. She has stayed with him through the years, giving him both warmth and comfort like a real mother. She starts to talk about the martial arts exam, explaining that she had been worried when she learned he was taking it. But now that she sees him safe and unharmed, she feels relieved. She tells him that his safety matters more than his score, and she would still be proud even if he had not passed. From her words, Jingming realizes that she has not yet heard about his achievements. He looks at Tang Qi, who admits that she thought it would be better if Jingming told his aunt himself. Jingming then reveals that he actually did well in the exam, scoring over 10,000 points. Qingwan becomes so shocked that she accidentally spits out her drink. Jingming quickly hands her a serviette to clean up. For a moment, Qingwan is speechless. She cannot believe that their Shu family now has a true successor. In her heart, she knows Jingming's late parents would be proud of him. Tears fill her eyes as she hugs him tightly, full of joy and relief. At the same time, in a distant university, the professors and exam officials discuss Jingming's results. They are astonished that someone with an E-class natural type ability like weak electricity could achieve such an incredible score. Some of them doubt the report and wonder if it is real, suggesting that if the score is genuine, they should try to recruit him immediately. A few others argue that based on his performance, his ability cannot possibly be E-class. It must be at least A-class or even S-class. They also find it strange that someone from a small place like Zhengcheng could outperform everyone else, making some of them suspect that irregular means might have been used during the exam, even though cheating or impersonation is rare. However, one woman among them suggests keeping Jingming temporarily listed as an S-class special recruit until the truth is confirmed. She volunteers to travel to Zhengcheng herself to investigate and verify whether Jingming's astonishing score is genuine or not. Just when Jingming finally proves his strength, a mysterious investigator from one of the top universities sets out to uncover the truth behind his unbelievable score. Is Jingming's power really beyond S-class? Or is there something even greater awakening inside him? Don't miss what happens next in the Rise of the Lightning Awakener. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next chapter recap.